Hi there, today's story comes from the book Haunted Donegal by Madeleine McCully, and it's called The Witch of Loch Doon. Loch Doon is a lake near Kilclooney, between Ardra and Portneuf. At the centre of this small dark island there is a fort. Few people went near the island, although fishermen sometimes fished in the lake as it had the reputation for containing rainbow trout and salmon. It is said that a witch lived on the island in the middle of Loch Doon, which was part of the land that belonged to the O'Boyle clan. It is also said that the O'Boyles never ventured near there because they had heard of and experienced the witch's powerful spells. She had a cow called Duainn, and the only friend she had was a spider. She never left the island because she knew that if she came in touch with the water surrounding it, she would lose her magic. Her cow Duainn supplied milk daily, and that was the only sustenance she had. Duainn fed on the small patches of green grass and moss that grew inside and outside the fort on this otherwise bleak and rocky island. The water lapped the edges of the grassy area, and in some places the fort almost reached the water's edge, leaving barely any room for the witch to walk around it. No matter, for she rarely did so unless the cow had wandered, so she contented herself with walking and living inside the shelter of the fort. Each morning she rose before sunrise, milked the cow, and went back into the darkness, which she preferred. Inside the fort the fairies were very active, but the witch had no time for them, and when they disturbed her sleep one night she took a willow rod to them in anger. They retaliated by putting the blink on her cow, which meant that the cow's milk dried up. She was so enraged that she had been left with no food supply that she decided to rid herself of the fairies. She knew a spell that she could cast to deal with the fairies for once and for all. The spell was in the form of a mantra, Kum Kang Kung, Kum Kang Kung. The words did not make any sense, but whatever it was she said, it was magical because the fairies were spellbound and could no longer approach the fort or her cow. She might have had a suspicion that the fairies could find a way to harm the cow, so at night, before she went to bed, she put a spell on Duainn that turned the cow to stone. Before dawn she revoked the spell, milked the cow, and took her supply of milk into the fort again. No one knew what she did under the cover of darkness. One evening a lone fisherman rowed towards the edge of the lake in his coracle. He saw the cow grazing close to the shore, and afraid that it would scare the fish away, he gave it a wallop with the oar. Unfortunately, at that moment, the witch was approaching, croaking out the mantra, so both the cow and the poor fisherman were turned to stone and fell into the water. The witch rushed to save the cow, but as soon as she touched the water, her magical abilities disappeared. And although she screamed and pulled at the stone cow, it sank to the bottom of the lake, and she sank with it. A giant owl appeared and watched the water with its large eyes. When darkness gathered over the lake, the owl began to hoot unceasingly. It is said that this owl may be the reincarnation of the witch. Fishermen looking for their vanished friend dared to approach the island, but were frightened away by the strange sounds of a cow in distress and the unearthly screeches of agony that they heard. There are some reports that the mantra drifts across the lake after sunset and before sunrise, and that the owl stands sentinel over all. Few people approach the island, but those who accidentally do so behold the strangest manifestation of a demented woman who calls out, Kum Kang Kung, Kum Kang Kung. And that's that. Thank you. Bye bye.